This is the story of Final Fantasy XIV, patch 3.5, The Far Edge of Fate, part 1. And where we left off at the end of patch 3.4, all of the Scions have now been accounted for, and without Minfilia, they've decided to reform their structure, making them simply a collection of individuals who share a common purpose. Let's get started. At the Diamond Forge, near the Rising Stones, Tataru takes measurements of the hero, but doesn't explain why. Yida enters to say that Alphino is asking for everyone to gather for a meeting. At the meeting, Alphino brings up the recent change to the Scions.
And while I stand by the decision to approach each task as we see fit, I fear our effectiveness will ultimately be diminished should we continue to act in ignorance of each other's efforts. Thus, I propose we elect a successor to Minfilia. Not to serve as a fully fledged antecedent, perhaps, but as a coordinator of operations.
Alize says Alphino seems the best candidate, but he says he's not fit for the role after seeing what happened when he led the Crystal Braves. They bounce around ideas for a moment, then Tataru yells for help.
Tataru, are you all right?
Tataru is fine, but a badly injured woman kneels on the floor and they tend to her wounds.
Thank you. My message. It was too important to delay. I took the shortest route I could, though I knew it was more heavily patrolled. As you can see, my efforts at evasion were not entirely successful. My name is Minago, and I belong to the Alamegan resistance.
She says the Griffin is plotting something reckless.
He means to assault Baelsar's wall from the Alamegan side.
But what does the Griffin possibly hope to gain from such an attack?
From what I understand, he wants the fires of war to spread to Eorzea. And for that, he needs to control the border with Gridania.
So, he means to spark a conflict between the Alliance and the Imperial forces stationed in Alamigo, to have Eorzea's armies aid in the liberation effort, whether they will it or no.
The Scions split up to inform all the Eorzean leaders. The hero heads to Ishgard to inform Sir Aymeric. In Ishgard, Sir Aymeric says he will send an envoy to Gridania with Lucia as the escort. He will first need to consult with the House of Commons in accordance with their new laws. Later, the hero and Lucia wait at the Gates of Judgment for Sir Aymeric to arrive. He arrives and says he will be the envoy himself, but he must stop at Camp Dragonhead first to secure the garrison before heading to Gridania. At Camp Dragonhead, the hero finds that Amanelaine has been appointed as Haurchefant's successor. Lucia informs him of the situation and he promises to strengthen their patrols. All the envoys of the Eorzean Alliance gather in Gridania to discuss the new developments concerning Baelsar's wall.
I bid you welcome, my friends. As you will by now be aware, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn have come into possession of certain intelligence concerning recent developments in the region of Gyr Abania.
This Griffin of theirs is a fool if he thinks he can hold Baelsar's wall against the Empire.
Roban and Connie Cinna say this poses a real threat to Gridania, and Sir Aymeric expresses regret for not coming to their aid before the calamity.
Elder Seedseer, I do hereby request leave to deploy a defensive force within the borders of Gridania. Ishgard's return to the Alliance shall be honored by more than mere ink upon parchment.
Yugiri offers her Doman shinobi forces as well, and Connie Cinna is thankful.
Then let us make ready for war. Victory favors the swift. There is much to be done.
After the crowd scatters, Alphino expresses his concerns.
In making ready for war, is the Alliance not granting the Griffin the very thing he desired? Any attempt to hold the wall is doomed to failure, aye. But I wonder if we have misjudged the prize for which he plays.
Having no other options, Alphino heads to the nearby Sylph village while the others return to the Rising Stones. Later, Alphino joins the others at the Rising Stones. Alize tells the others that the Eorzean Alliance is amassing an army in the Black Shroud near Baelsar's wall, and Yda expresses her eagerness to fight the Garleans. Papalymo says he can sneak into Alamigo and try to dissuade the Griffin from attacking, and Yda, Yugiri, and Thancred volunteer to go with him. The hero and Alphino head to East Shroud to watch the border. At a tower near the border, the hero meets with Pippin, Hilda, and other commanding officers. Just as they report that it's been quiet so far, violent commotion is heard, and a report comes in that fighting has broken out atop the wall. Shockingly, the attackers are wearing Grand Company colors, despite no such orders going out. Alphino realizes that the Griffin is planning a grand deception, and amassing troops at the border only lends weight to his ruse. The Empire will believe that Eorzea has launched an offensive, and this will start a war. Amidst the chaos, the Griffin will likely slip into Alameda Alamigo and start the rebellion. The hero and Alphino head to the wall to find their comrades, and Hilda leaves to get an airship ready. Just outside the wall, Alphino summarizes the plan. He will sneak under the tunnels to try and find their fellow Scions, while the hero will scale the wall directly and confront the Griffin. If all goes well, Hilda should arrive with an airship to lead them to safety in the end. The hero plunges directly into the chaos, scaling Baelsar's wall with a group of brave companions. After some time, they face the Griffin directly, who removes his mask and reveals himself to be Ilberd, the former Crystal Brave who betrayed the Scions. As challenging a foe as he is, he's no match for the Warrior of Light.
You've beaten me, aye. But you cannot stop what I've begun. Behold! A glimpse of things to come!
The hero overhears imposters dressed in Eorzean uniforms making conversation nearby.
And who knows, lads? Mayhap the Eorzeans will finally see sense when the enemy turns up on their bloody doorstep.
This is for Alamigo, for Eorzean.
Meanwhile, Laurentius and Yuyuhasi set Garlean war machines loose on the imposters.
There you are.
As you can see, our infiltrators did not elude me for long. Lady Ugiri is sending for an airship even as we speak.
How wonderful to see you, Commander.
Ilberd, I should have known.
Alphino pleads with him to retreat, but he refuses and reveals his newfound power.
Nidhogg's eyes! No abyss is too deep for you, I see. But trust me when I say that such power was not meant for mortal hands.
Ilberd says Alamegans have lost their will to fight and he'll do whatever it takes.
You say no mortal should wield these eyes? Then I shall gladly become a demon. I will suckle on the souls of the hopeless and liberate the homeland they no longer deserve.
Alphino again insists that this is reckless and foolish, and he pleads with him not to work with primals.
Oh yes, I know their limitations. Which is why I will call upon a deity more terrible than the very black worm of the calamity itself.
Like hells you will!
An ending to mark a new beginning. My pain, my longing, you shall have it all!
His death completed the ritual. The Primal is taking shape.
Hey! Where do you think you're going?
Master Louisoix briefly contained Bahamut by means of a potent spell of sealing. I will now attempt to do the same.
But that's impossible! We would need hours to collect the necessary ether, if not days!
Alphino, though I concede it may not always be apparent, I was ever your grandsire's finest pupil.
Tupsimati, of course! The staff still holds enormous power, broken or not.
Don't you dare, Papalymo! I know how that spell works. It is time to leave!
Papalymo insists that they leave him to it, and Yida insists on staying, so he tells the others to take her by force.
What? No! Damn it, Thancred! Put me down! Thancred!
This is one battle you cannot fight. Away with you! Go! I bid thee farewell again, my dear Ida.
Later, safely in the Black Shroud, Ida is sad and angry, but the others ensure her this was for the best, and it's what Papalymo wanted. Thancred says he'll stay with Ida and tells the others to return to the Rising Stones. Back at the Rising Stones, Alphino recounts everything that transpired to the others. Urianger remarks that Papalymo followed his master, Louis Sois, even unto the grave. Alphino wonders how Ilberd got the eyes, as no mortal could withstand the abyss they were thrown into. Kryl and Y'shtola depart to observe the cocoon Papalymo created, while Urianger returns to his studies. And patch 3.5 ends there. If you want to see what happens next, check out the story video for patch 3.56. See you next time.